things Halloween. This is Hauntformer, and welcome to the pilot episode of my brand new show, Haunt-Informer. The show where we're going to talk about all things Halloween, horror, and cockadoodie cars. I'm your host, Hauntformer, and today, let's jump into that sweet, and juicy Halloween news. Up first, kind of a big announcement. The Halloween 2018 film is getting a sequel. Well, sequels. 2 to be exact. The Halloween 2018 film that was directed by David Gordon Green is going to have 2 sequels, at least, also directed by Green, and he wants to allegedly release both in the same month, October 2020. Kind of a bold move. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. I know they're going to be filming both sequels back to back, as many directors have done, such as the Russo brothers when they did Infinity War and Endgame, but to release them in the same month almost seems counterintuitive. You're going to be competing with yourself there, Green. Not sure if that's a risk that you want to take for the horror film, but Halloween is a big enough name where you could risk that. And plus you have the character Michael Myers, which really does help, so we'll see what happens there. The other news regarding these sequels is what they're going to call them, because technically Halloween 2018 was a direct sequel to the 78 classic. So this one, if it were called Halloween 2, wouldn't make sense because it's really Halloween 3. But there already was a Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I don't know what they're going to call them. Hopefully they just add subtitles or subtext to the main title of Halloween. But only time will tell. Regardless, Michael Myers will be returning, and Nick Castle even tweeted a photo of the mask. So, will he be returning too? I know Jamie Lee Curtis will be, but a lot is still in the air regarding these sequels. Regardless though, Michael Myers is going to be back on the big screen. Again. Speaking of horror franchises, The Hollywood Reporter has recently announced that Saw will be getting a reboot. Yeah, Saw. Because it's only 15 years old. And the fans really wanted a reboot. After 8 Saw films, it was finally decided to reboot the franchise. But not with James Wan or even Tobin Bell for that matter. No. Chris Rock. Because Chris Rock knows a lot about horror. Regardless of your views on having Chris Rock helm the new film, it seems like he does have a vision for it, and if he has a vision mixed with his past in comedy, I think this new Saw film could be a little bit of a fresh take for the franchise. Personally, none of the sequels did what the original could do, so maybe just rebooting it altogether would offer something fresh. The big new reveal, however, is that Samuel L. Jackson is going to be in the new Saw movie. I never would have thought I would have said those words before, but he is. The question people are asking is he going to play the new Jigsaw, or whatever they're going to call him in this film? Not sure, but that sounds pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. However, it won't feel like Saw because Tobin Bell has really carried the series, and without his name attached to it, a lot of fans are going to be upset. Not sure about how I can feel with this one completely. Let's continue with the news about movies nobody wanted. Orion Pictures, known for making many classic films such as RoboCop, the film about a robot cop, The Silence of the Lambs, and the newly released Child's Play reboot, or remake, or whatever that was, are coming out with a new film about Momo. Yes, Momo, the thing that terrorized your children and perhaps made them want to do bad things. That's where the controversy really comes in, and I don't really think the timing was great on this. If you didn't know, there is a weird creature online that was kind of a meme called Momo, and some horrible people, there are just sick people in the world, made this thing try to get kids to do bad things to themselves and to others, which is just sickening to think about, that people are targeting children. But now Orion is trying to make a movie about it. I think that's very ill-timed, and I think that with the controversies and with, you know, the really tender hearts and thoughts about this particular subject, they really just sort of held off on announcing this because a lot of people are still really upset about it, and understandably so. Plus, you know, just in terms of an advertising perspective, Momo's kind of a dead meme. Not many people talk about the thing anymore. It's kind of like Slender Man when they made that movie. They just need to let it go, and if I was in charge or had a say-so on what they should do, get the original creator of the sculptor, who, by the way, has denounced the horrible things that people were doing with his art, and getting him to make a new creature for a film that they could center around that creature, make a story about this new creature, and don't reveal it until people actually see it in the film. He could make it even creepier than Momo, and I think that would be a more exciting thing for horror fans to watch. That would be a little more positive, too. We're still going strong on the movie trend because there's another announcement, one that hits deep, it's close, and that is Disney wants to make a live-action Nightmare Before Christmas movie. They're still at it. If you didn't know, Disney is trying to make a lot of live-action adaptations of their animated classics. We saw this with many movies, The Beauty and the Beast, the recent Aladdin film, The Lion King, and the upcoming Mulan. But now they're trying to touch something that it hits deep for me, and that is The Nightmare Before Christmas, perhaps my favorite animated film and the best Tim Burton movie. That's a tough one. I'm not sure why they feel the need to make all these live-action films. I'm really kind of sick of it at this point. But it depends on what they're trying to do. If they're trying to make a sequel, that might be interesting enough to justify it. But if they're just trying to remake The Nightmare Before Christmas, just stop. The animation was perfect. There's no need to remake it. Please, Disney. You're our only hope. Alright, no more movie news. Let's jump to TV. And I have two announcements. The first is that when it comes to American Horror Story, they're continuing pretty strong. They're in the 9th season of the show coming up, and the season is called 1984, which is a throwback to the classic slashers of that year, including A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th Part 4, and many others. Regardless, this season will talk a lot about slasher movies, but unfortunately, many of the classic stars of the show will not be returning, including Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson, who may make a slight cameo, but will not be in the show besides that. I know Evan Peters really won't be in it at all, but I don't know, those character actors that really held the show in place are now kind of stepping back and letting new blood take over. I'm not a huge fan of the show to begin with, so for all you diehard fans, what do you think? I am, however, a big fan of Scream, the classic 1996 Wes Craven film, and there is a season 3 of the Scream television show that is now debuted on VH1 instead of MTV. They're kind of business partners. There's a long story there, but regardless, VH1 has now started the 3-night premiere of Scream Resurrection, which by the time I'm uploading this video will already have passed, but tonight's technically the final night of the show. I watched the first episode, technically 2, because I think they play back to back. Yikes! It was bad. I really did not like it. And I am a huge fan of Scream. All 4 movies were great. The MTV show was alright. I think the first season was fine. The second season got a little redundant. But man, they dropped the ball on this show. The editing's so choppy. It feels like I'm watching a reality TV show. The characters just seemed all over the place. They got into talking politics. It's really bizarre. The only thing that really holds this show up in any way is that Roger Jackson has reprised his role as the voice of the killer, and of course they have the classic ghost face mask but they even call him Ghostface constantly throughout the show, and it's very distracting. All you Scream fans out there, beware. In June, Microsoft announced a brand new video game. Yeah, I'm on the video games now. A new video game that will be based off of none other than the Blair Witch Project. That's right. If you remember the Blair Witch Project from the late 90s, there is yet another, because there have been like a bunch of Blair Witch video games, and we finally are getting a new one coming to Xbox and other Microsoft products very, very soon. It's going to take players back to Burkittsville and follow a creepy story that kind of looks like the Slender games. Should be interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Blair Witch, but I do respect it for the ingenuity that it had in the late 90s. I also do like the Slender games, and it has that similar vibe going on, so I'd be pretty excited to play this game. Plus, if it can dive into the lore of the Blair Witch film that we didn't really see in the movie, I think that would be even cooler and another reason to check out the game. Because it is kind of a smaller game, it's not like some big like Red Dead 2 game or anything, I would imagine that it's going to be cheaper, so if you're in the market for video games, check this one out. Now, where are all my toy fans at? Do I see any toy fans? Yeah, you right there. Yeah, anyways, this next part's for you. Funko has recently announced that they're going to be making Funko Pops, you know, these little things, the things with the like creepy devil eyes. Yeah, they're making Funko Pops of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. The very classic Halloween special that the Simpsons do a lot of times. Well, they're getting their own Funko Pops, and they look pretty interesting to me. I haven't really followed the Simpsons, so I'm kind of blind when it comes to this stuff, but there are a lot of dedicated and loyal Simpsons fans, and if you love the Halloween episodes, you will get a kick out of these Funko Pop characters coming this year, so you'll have them in time for, assuming, Halloween. If Funko's not quite your thing, may I suggest NECA with their brand new line of Toonie Terrors, kind of cartoonish versions of classic horror monsters. They kind of have an art scheme similar to Scooby-Doo, and I think they look pretty cool. In the first lineup, there are 4 different monsters to choose from. You have Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and 2 versions of Pennywise. The Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård interpretations, the 90s, and the 2017 remake. So it's pretty cool to see these characters coming into more of a childlike interpretation of themselves. Kinda cool. If you're a fan of those pop-up Halloween stores every year, especially Spirit Halloween, this next segment will have you covered, because there are going to be multiple licensed characters coming to the store and online. In regards to what characters you can expect, there are the Terror Dog from Ghostbusters, kind of expensive for $500, but you diehard collectors out there and you know who you are, you'll eat this up. There's also going to be an American Horror Story Twisty the Clown prop, and of course, the Child's Play 2 Good Guy doll featuring the Good Guy doll box. So all of you people who couldn't afford the Trick or Treat Studios model, yeah, there's a more affordable one for you. And speaking of Trick or Treat Studios, their brand new mask lineup is up for pre-order right now, and they're going to be shipping out starting next month in August. There's going to be so many cool masks you don't want to miss out, including A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Halloween, and many, many more. So if you haven't, pre-order them today. And while I have you, and if you want to pre-order some of these sweet, sweet goodies, make sure to check out Lord Grimley's Manor. And if you use the promo code hauntformer19, you can get 10% off your purchase. Lord Grimley's has some of the best pricing on these products, so you're not going to want to miss out. They're super cool people, and you can use a promo code with my name in it. And who doesn't love that? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the first installment of Haunt Informer. If you have any ideas about next time's video, make sure to either leave a comment or send me an email with the email in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and if you love Halloween and horror, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.